Donald Trump made a pretty stunning admission about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Some might even call it an incriminating admission. This also comes at the same time where an undercover citizen journalist got videotape, a hidden camera of a fairly senior DOJ Epstein investigator who revealed that Epstein was in the CIA and had other foreign contacts that may be relevant. The DOJ denies that this individual was a senior DOJ official, but James O'Keefe's team got that on tape. And this also comes at the same time that the discharge petition in the House of Representatives, which would force a vote on the House floor to release the Epstein files, just got that 218th signature as the newly elected Democratic Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva is going to be sworn in soon. And I know the MAGA Republicans want to try to delay her from being sworn in, but all of this confluence of factors is happening all at once. So let's start with Trump's stunning and perhaps incriminating admission right here. Donald Trump said, people don't understand that Palm Beach in the 90s was a very different time. People were doing different things back then that may not make sense in 2025. Donald Trump says, why is everyone so fixated on this Epstein issue? How could we make it die down? This comes from bombshell reporting by the Wall Street Journal. They're undeterred. Hat tip to Rebecca Ballhaus and her team of Josh Dowsey and Ryan Barber. Those reporters at the Wall Street Journal are fearless. They're doing good work. The Wall Street Journal article yesterday is called Inside the White House Struggle to Tame the Epstein Crisis. Finger pointing, disorganization, and unforced errors by Trump advisors made the problem worse. Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? You remember when Donald Trump said that to the press? Well, he was saying that to all of his advisors. According to this article, there were multiple meetings in the Oval Office. How do we cover it up? How do we make it go away? What do we do? And they eventually decided on the plan to meet with Ghislaine Maxwell in Tallahassee, where she was serving her sentence after she was convicted of child sex trafficking. And she was in that maximum security facility she was sentenced for over 20 years. Donald Trump's former criminal defense attorney, Todd Blanche, interviewed her. They moved her to the minimum security facility, for which they needed a Bureau of Prison waiver for her, since convicted sex traffickers are not allowed to be in Camp Bryant, Texas, a minimum security facility near Texas A&M University. But as you go through this article, it has more bombshell revelations as well. Like Attorney General Pam Bondi was complaining to other officials that the FBI leadership was trying to destroy me. They're all out here trying to destroy me. Why are they leaking information about me in the internal Discord? What is happening? Pam Bondi was losing her mind. Also, Trump told aides that he was worried that some of his close friends might be mentioned in the files. And get this, Trump worried out loud that the files might have been doctored to hurt him. Okay, Donald, they were doctored to hurt you, just like the birthday card, right? There was a time-traveling doctorer or forger who went back in 2003 and forged your signature. But the FBI and DOJ's not worried about this time-traveling forger. Oh, and let me get this straight. All of the other letters were accurate, like Lord Mandelson, the United Kingdom ambassador to the United States, who lost his job as the ambassador to the U.S. because I guess that time-traveling forger didn't forge Lord Mandelson's signature. That one was real. All the other rich men their signatures were real. But Donald's, the time traveler forger, got you. How utterly ridiculous. There's more from this article as well. When Donald Trump found out that Wall Street Journal was going to publish the article about the birthday card, Trump was on Air Force One and he told his aides, just shut up. I will handle it myself. I'm going to handle it. So he calls up Rupert Murdoch and he goes, Rupert, kill the story, Rupert, you better kill the story. And Rupert's like, I can't do anything about it. I can't kill the story right now. And so it was published by the Wall Street Journal. Donald Trump then sued the Wall Street Journal. There's now litigation. The Wall Street Journal filed a motion to dismiss, and they said, first off, we've got the letter now. It's Donald Trump's signature, but even if you assume that we don't have the letter, we don't have Donald Trump's signature, what would be defamatory about a birthday card that says our secrets will never age, or enigmas never age, and our deepest, darkest secrets, or whatever the hell it said? If you want to apply a defamatory meaning, you must be pretty sick. By the way, a great motion to dismiss by the Wall Street Journal, right? What's defamatory about this? Donald Trump, you were out there partying with Epstein. You said he's a great guy who likes women on the younger side. It's a direct quote. You were found liable, Donald, for sexual assault. You're on audio saying that when you're rich, you get to sexually assault women, and when you're rich, you get away with it. You talk about going into beauty pageants and looking at the girls naked at beauty pageants. So explain the defamatory aspect. Even if the letter was not real, which it is real, what's the defamatory aspect about it? Okay, so going from Donald Trump saying, no one understands, Palm Beach was just different in the 90s, man. You don't know what men were like in the 90s. Very different stuff was going on back then. Gross, disgusting, incriminating, perhaps. Okay, then you go to this part right here, and hat tip to O'Keefe Media Group at o'keefemediagroup.com. That's, they're doing good work here. Gotta give him credit for capturing this on tape. So they got this guy right here, the senior DOJ investigator, Glenn Prager. He at least holds himself out as a senior DOJ investigator. And take a look at this exclusive bombshell where here he talks about how Epstein would pay off the girls. Here, play this clip.
How about this whole Epstein thing that's like going on?
I worked on that case. I used to interview all the victims, and my picture was 20 to 30 victims, in Palm Beach that I was interviewing and dealing with and stuff like that. And then we go ready to go to trial, and they would flip. Epstein would just pay them off, and they were just like these little kids. They pay off their family. They're all broke kids and poor families, and so you pay them off like anywhere from $150,000 to $500,000. Nothing in that guy's world.
Hey everybody, Ben Meiselas here from the MeidasTouch Network. I wanted to let you know about my podcast partner, Michael Popak's new law firm. It's called the Popak Firm. Michael Popak's pursuing his dream of starting his own law firm, really based on the popular demand by all the Meidas Mighty and legal AFers who were approaching Michael Popak with their cases and saying, can you help us? And at that time, Popak was not able to. So he went out on his own. He started the Popak Firm, where he is now handling catastrophic injury cases like car accident cases, trucking cases, malpractice cases, big negligence cases, wrongful death cases. So if you or someone you know have a case like this, the consultation with Popak's firm is free. Give him a call. See if you have a case. It's thepopakfirm.com, thepopakfirm.com, or you can call 877-POPOK-AF, P-O-P-O-K-A-F. So 1-877-POPOK-AF. Give Michael Popak a call. And I'm really proud of you, Popak. Thanks for all the hard work you're putting in. And then in this next clip, Glenn Prager, again, senior investigator at the DOJ, says that Epstein has the CIA and Israel connections. And again, it could just be this. Let's be clear. It could just be Prager saying this to impress the girl he was talking to at the airport or wherever. But this guy was a senior DOJ official, and he is saying this. He didn't know he was on camera. Here, play this clip.
So DOJ was settling a case, and they were just letting him, do house arrest, and they minimized his arrest. Part of that is because all the victims kept on flipping, and they didn't have anyone to go to trial with. The more importantly part is they didn't want to go after him. He's a asset for the United States and Israel for the CIA. I just know that's what he was, and that's why he was protected so long for this. And people turned a blind eye about all this garbage that he was doing in the United States. He had a lot of secrets with More about Israeli stuff than anything else. I mean, he was doing stuff for Israel and the United States. He's working for both.
So here's the official statement from the DOJ on that story. This individual worked at the Department of Justice as a program analyst over 15 years ago. He has no understanding of or access to the underlying facts in this investigation. His statement should not be considered accurate. It is disgusting that someone would further exploit the victims of sexual abuse by fabricating stories for their personal benefit. Department of Justice spokesperson. But you notice how they always invoke the victims? Because when you listen to the victims, the survivors, that is, although some have died by suicide because of the trauma that they went through, we heard from them on Capitol Hill. They want the files released, and they are livid that Donald Trump is covering it up. We even heard from a survivor who was a Trump voter, who's horrified that Donald Trump is calling this a hoax. Now, you'll note that Donald Trump has ordered the MAGA Republicans to kill the discharge petition in order for the files never to be released. Trump has ordered Republicans in the Senate and the House make sure the Epstein files never been released. No one denies that that was the order. And he says this, no one denies this either. He says it is a hostile act to me, Donald Trump, hostile, if you allow these Epstein files to be released. Well, again, that's another pretty incriminating admission. So Donald Trump's, protectors, his cult protectors, like MAGA Republican Representative Clay Higgins, is attacking the Republican from Kentucky, Thomas Massie, who's working across party lines with Democratic Congressmember Ro Khanna to release the files. The position of the Republicans was to release the files. The survivors want the files released, yet now MAGA Mike, MAGA Higgins, MAGA, all these people are saying this. Thomas Massie's 100% wrong on so many levels with his political maneuver Epstein petition. The Oversight Committee is conducting an official investigation into Epstein-related matters, and we're following all established rules of criminal justice procedure. It's a shame what my friend Thomas has done, attempting to injure the Republican Party and ignore privacy rights of hundreds of innocent Americans who may have their life turned upside down because of this weird petition. Meanwhile, the Oversight Committee will continue to conduct an actual deep investigation into all things Epstein related, and every individual's right under American law will be protected. If someone becomes subject to warrant or subpoena, that's when their identity will become public. That's how legitimate investigations operate. How about the Oversight Committee subpoenaed the DOJ? The DOJ turned over all of the old documents. 33,000 old documents. Nothing new. I think 1%, to be fair, maybe 1 to 2 to 3% was new, but it was all redacted. So there is 97% of stuff out there. Well, 100% pretty much of what the Epstein files really is, because the other stuff was redacted. So the DOJ has not responded to the lawful subpoena by the House Oversight Committee. Also, the House Oversight Committee has indefinitely delayed the deposition of Ghislaine Maxwell, which was another subpoena that was issued. So the House Oversight Committee is not doing its job. They are doing what Trump wants to do, which is to cover this all up. It should be obvious to us, right? No matter what political party you're from, they're trying to cover this up. Now, Republican Congressmember Thomas Massie, who's doing a great job here, working across the aisle with Democratic Congressmember Ro Khanna, says, with all due respect to my friend Clay Higgins, Americans are weary. Billionaires and politically connected men to whom Epstein trafficked women have been given a pass. The files DOJ released to oversight are redacted and incomplete. This became obvious when Director Patel testified. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, the 218th vote needed for the discharge petition to force a vote on releasing the Epstein files now exists. Democratic Congresswoman-elect Adelita Grijalva has been elected in Arizona. By the way, she doubled the votes that her dad did. Her dad passed away, and then she took over that seat. But she got double the votes of her dad, a big, a 27-point overperformance than when her dad was elected in that race. So Democrats continue to overperform in all of these special elections. As Ro Khanna writes, congratulations, Adelita, for AZ. When Congress returns, she will be the 218th signature on Thomas Massie and my discharge petition. We're one step closer to releasing the full Epstein files, justice for survivors. But now, the White House is working behind the scenes to prevent a vote on the Massey-Khanna-Epstein discharge petition by trying to pressure the 3 Republicans who signed on, in addition to Massey, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, and Nancy Mace, to revoke their support and to remove their names from the discharge petition. Also, the White House trying to work with MAGA Mike Johnson, as this CNN article had tip Annie Graer, Sarah Ferris, and Manu Raju, really good reporters actually. They point out to block the vote, even if the discharge petition gets the requisite 218, try to come up with some parliamentary maneuver to kill the vote. And I think it's incumbent upon me, whenever I do a report on the Epstein files, the cover-up, Donald Trump's incriminating admission, to actually hear from the survivors and the survivors' family. Unfortunately here, Virginia Giuffre, who was sex trafficked from Mar-a-Lago when she was an underage girl, 17, she somehow got a job at the Mar-a-Lago spa, which is odd. That became the grounds where Epstein and Ghislaine went to, recruited her as an underage girl, sex trafficked her. Donald Trump recently said she was stolen from me. They stole her from me. She recently died by suicide in Australia, but her family members, her brother and sister-in-law, have been very outspoken, real heroes, very courageous people. And here they address this issue of the Trump regime now trying to kill the discharge petition. Let's play it.
But Massey and Khanna, as I mentioned, they say they're poised to get all the signatures that they need, in part because Arizona elected a Democrat last night in a special election, a Democrat, Adelita Grijalva, who has committed to signing that petition after she is sworn in. So they say that they have the votes. But in this context, and Sky, we're just getting this in right now. So let me just explain what's happened. We are learning there is an intensifying effort by White House allies behind the scenes to pressure GOP lawmakers who have signed on to that petition to withdraw their name, to prevent a floor vote. And we are just learning this from our Hill team. Obviously, you know some of those Republicans. You met with them. Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Nancy Mace, right? They have done this and bucked their own party. But we are learning about this intensifying effort going on right now to get Republicans to flip that vote. What do you say to this, Sky?
I'll address the first part, is that we are excited that, that we do have, as of right now, the votes. I don't see as to why it has to take somebody getting sworn in for us to push this forward. Representative Crank has that opportunity right now. Yep. In regards to the response to that, I would say, we had the opportunity to sit down with Representative Boebert's staffers. They were incredibly sensitive to the topic. They were very knowledgeable. We do feel confident that she will continue to back that. And quite frankly, I think we've said this all along, but this is not a party issue. This is a human issue. And I think we are very proud of Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, of Lauren Boebert, Massey, Nancy Mace. I think they're showing a lot of courage right now. We ask that we flipped that script. I think we should ask more representatives to come forward and push this to a majority vote, not just a small majority, but a large majority, because if you don't, you are standing with pedophiles, period.
There you have it, folks. We're giving you all the facts, the incriminating admissions, the undercover tape that O'Keefe got, to the killing of the discharge petition. We're going to keep you posted every step of the way. Comprehensive as always here on the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers. We appreciate you so much for watching.
New Meidas merch. Head to store.meidastouch.com today and get yourself the best pro-democracy gear and show your support. That's store.meidastouch.com.